Hey everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV and your latest Liverpool news update. I'm Dan Club, that's Steve Hoare. You guys are already very active in the chat. Let's keep up that energy. Let's keep that going as me and Steve talk through the latest Liverpool news reports, speculation and all that good stuff. And first and foremost, Steve, I mean, I've asked you this because I've been with you for the past 4 hours, but are you okay?
I am great. You've just beat me at pool, which is disappointing. 2-0 straight sets.
Yeah.
You give me a bit of a lesson, really, actually. So other than that, yeah, I'm good. You?
Beat might be an understatement. I'm sound. Yeah, I'm
all right.
On top of the world after what happened upstairs.
World champion.
Yeah. All good, mate. Yeah, we're going to talk about Calafiori and a few other bits as well. As I mentioned, the chat is very active. Supernova, YNWA, we're sound, as just said. Hope you are as well, mate. Gory comes in with, need to stop pissing about with this one, referencing Calafiori. Nobody can tell me Calafiori will be a bad signing. It's absolutely perfect. He can even play left back if needed. I mean, before we get into it, are Liverpool pissing about? I don't think we are. I mean, things are moving slowly, it's fair to say, but with Euros, Copa America, like a lot of the reporting has been, I think James Pearce himself said this week, patience is required. Is that kind of where you're at with it?
Yeah, again, we know they're working on stuff because they have been a bit active. They haven't got anything over the line, but like I said, there's a lot of players away. As more teams get knocked out, and you might see a few more deals happening. Yeah. Most of the deals around have been players who are no longer or haven't been in international tournaments. So, yeah, I think that's probably what it is. And we're going to speak about Calafiori in a moment. And obviously, the fact that Italy are now out of the Euros is probably why it's starting to ramp up and why there's more noise about it. Because while he was away, it's probably similar to Anthony Gordon. It was different, obviously, with the PSR deadline and stuff, but he's away too. So, whatever they're doing, if it's there's two major tournaments going on with what you'd say. The vast majority of players Liverpool are going to sign are going to probably be from those two continents. Yeah. Very rarely do they go outside. Obviously, they've had a few African players down the line, but very often. So, that's where I'm at with it. I'm confident they're doing the work. The manager told them from day one he's been doing the work. So, I have seen a lot of people getting a little bit get on with it. Why haven't they done anything yet? Well, not really too much to be done at this stage, I would guess, but some big names to talk about, and I say they're being linked to some really good players. Yeah,
they most definitely are. Yeah, and you're absolutely spot on. And Calafiori himself, to use him as an example, came out a couple of weeks ago now in the Euros and said, don't even want to talk about the future. That can wait. Want to deal with the Italy stuff first. And obviously, as mentioned, they are now out. Gory does return and says he just means don't wait for other teams to get in there ahead of us, which I tend to agree with.
I don't think it works like that. Like, if anyone wants him, they'll have made the move, and what would happen? If another team does get in front, you still get the chance. So I don't think that works. Players tend to go where they want to go. You know what I mean? Like
certainly nowadays.
Yeah, if a couple of clubs come in for them and offer similar packages, then I don't think that's a massive case. Because like we saw with Luis Diaz, Tottenham came in and Liverpool come in and they got him. You know what I mean? So I don't think it matters too much. It only matters, of course, when there's players with like a release clause or such. But other than that, I don't think it matters too much, if I'm honest.
Well, what we do know is he's bound to have a lot of interest, so his decisions could be an interesting one for Calafiori. The noise has definitely ramped up, as you mentioned a moment ago. Fabrizio Romano has been might across it. There's a few different really sort of sectors of this update. Bologna director has spoken about it, and Sartori, he says, I think he will not end up joining Juventus, which is where a lot of people had him down for going until the last couple of days, to be honest with you. He said probably he can go abroad in case we decide to sell him. We'd like to keep Calafiori, so let's see what happens. Just going to move straight over to another update. And he's mentioned Arsenal and Chelsea more recently for Fabrizio Romano. He said they both remain attentive to the situation of Riccardo Calafiori at Bologna. No proposals yet, no negotiations, but interest and race open. And one more final one. Again, Bologna director Sartori has spoken again and said, I can confirm that we would consider proposals for Riccardo Calafiori. It would be fantastic to keep him, but we have to be realistic. In case of a good proposal, we will discuss about that, and we anticipate clubs from abroad to move. So, Steve, I mean, Arsenal and Chelsea named directly in amongst that, but a bit of a resignation from the director of Bologna that he might have to sell Calafiori. Whether that he's anticipating big money they simply can't refuse. We know about the 40% selling clause that's in there, so maybe it's just, like I say, it's money that will be on the table that they won't be able to turn a nose up at. And also, many references to clubs abroad, and I think we're anticipating that will be the Premier League.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? Like I say, Arsenal and Chelsea getting directly named checked. We don't know where Liverpool sit in this. Liverpool have been linked with them for a while, and I've yet to see or read or hear anything, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, where Liverpool have ruled out the interest. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of noise around Liverpool being potentially in for centre halves and good players and stuff. So, well, I'm sorry, in terms of centre half / left backs, a little bit of noise. I know he was the latest one, so it must be a position that they're potentially looking at, and we haven't heard any, like I say, denials of that. So it's interesting. Sartori's comments are positive. It feels to me like they know there's interest and they know the player will quite like the move, so they're being all right about it. The interesting thing, of course, is they're going to lose Eki as well, aren't they? And that's a release clause, so they're going to lose him. So I can see why they want to keep him with Bologna, but this tends to happen. If a team has a good season, it's hard to go back to back to back because teams do come and pick off your best players. We did it. We've done it. We did it to Brighton. We went and signed, their, I think
Southampton prior to that.
Well, Liverpool have always done this. Yeah. It's they're trying to do it to Newcastle a little bit now.
It's the nature of the beast of footy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is. And it can be difficult for certain teams to keep hold of certain players' wages, and also like the player will want to move to a bigger club. With all due respect to Bologna, they're a big club. They're not like a superpower. They're not really going to win many titles or Champions Leagues, you would think. But it is interesting that Sartori's comments have changed very quickly. They've gone from, we want to keep him, to, yeah, listen, let's be honest about it, lads. Like, you know what I mean? And I think, to be honest, all football clubs are secretly like this behind the scenes. They won't want to put it out in public, but every manager knows, unless you are, I'd say, a director at one of maybe 5 to 10 clubs.
And it is only a handful
maybe
of clubs.
If that, then you know that there's a very good chance that a team's going to come in for your player and he's going to want to make that move. So the next stage is, like I say, where's the interest coming from? I was just resigned, maybe, I don't know if that's the right word, the fact that he was going to go to Juventus. I thought that was nailed on. It looked all done and dusted. Obviously, the relationships between Bologna and Juventus are amazing. Yeah. So now the worry is, does he go to a better team? Does he go to Liverpool's rivals, at Chelsea or an Arsenal? Arsenal will be a strange one for me because I don't think he plays.
No, I agree.
Maybe the team as a left back though, predominantly left back.
I mean, centre-halves playing left back is becoming common.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So if they go down the Man City model and say to him, like, you're the left back, but you're playing every week, that's the area they need. Yeah, and then Chelsea, to be fair, are looking anyone. There's a lot of players you can get in Chelsea. I think he's better than what they've got. I think he's better than Badashile. I think he's better than Colwell.
Fofana's the other one.
I've been injured a long time.
No, yeah, I think he's better than all of them, by the way. But every time somebody mentions Chelsea and transfers at the moment, if I was a player like Calafiori, who seemingly has an abundance of options and very good options at that, let's just say Arsenal, Liverpool, or the other two contenders. If I was looking at those three, I wouldn't even consider Chelsea. And I know the money, I get all that. And Chelsea historically, certainly in the past, 2 decades, 3 decades, whatever you want to call it, have that history. However, look at the mess of Chelsea Football Club. And I know they're not a million miles away, but no one can tell me that's stable and that's ready to be propelled to the next level right now. I just can't buy it. And they're not in Champions League either. Let's factor that into the equation too. So if I was looking at those three options, and obviously Liverpool biased, I would always be Liverpool anyway. But I wouldn't even have Chelsea in that mix personally.
But they might be offering you a 7-year contract. Like,
that's the difference. That's what they can do.
And they offer London. And listen, Chelsea have always managed to sign players, so there's obviously a clear attraction to them. So maybe the new manager, the Italian links, maybe, I don't know. But
how long is that new manager going to be there? That's the other thing. It again doesn't feel like a stable project to me. That's all I'd say.
I actually think, to be honest with you, Arsenal's not always most likely to play from day one, because I think he just goes in and beats their left back straight away.
Yeah. Because it's Kirill, Zinchenko, it's bits of other things.
So I can see them going down the route of just play like the centre back, left back thing, and attack down the right hand side. He used Ben White as a full back, didn't he, for a long time? But yeah, it looks like he's available. So if Liverpool want him, there he is. They now know there's no messing about with this one. Sometimes like all these conversations happen. And then you're like, well, we like him, but is he available? We don't know if he's available. Might be available. Does anyone? Like, everyone knows now these latest comments, and I'm sure Liverpool would have known this anyway. Yeah. They'll have done their due diligence if they wanted him. Yeah. He is there and he's available. So if they want to make the move, there is, Bologna are basically saying, come and get him. Here's the money, come and get him.
They're going to want a bidding war, aren't they? They'd love Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool all to come in at the same time and then say, well, whoever pays the most, off he goes. Again, I mentioned the 40% sell-on clause. They're going to need as much money as possible because they're not going to get it all, basically. Yeah,
that just... I understand the point of the bidding war, but that very rarely happens. No. Usually there's a set price. Yeah. They'll say, there's the price. Arsenal will offer that price, and then Liverpool and Chelsea will also offer that price, and then it becomes a... Well, who do you want to go to? Yes. Who offers the best terms? You know what I mean? Like,
they'll have a starting point. It's like eBay. They'll have a starting bid. But I do think the caveat of that percentage selling clause means it's a slightly different playing field because Bologna won't even get all of the 40 million. Somebody mentions there, 20 million in Sepp Vandenberg. That might actually be a better deal for Bologna because if you use a make weight like Sepp Vandenberg, all of a sudden the money they've got to pay out isn't quite as extensive.
Yeah, 40% of bar, don't they?
There's much money they can get through the door as possible, the better in this instance. There isn't just we think he's worth this. Because that won't even all be theirs.
I wonder if you're Bologna, and it's just hypothetical, so bear with me, guys, indulge me. You'd almost be better saying give us 2 or 3 players and 0 money.
Yes.
and then you get 3 players and you don't have to go and give anything to Ball. Maybe I don't know if that.
No, you might be right, yeah.
I don't know if that's even like
Ball would be fuming. Like,
I mean, you're pissing off a lot of Swiss people there, but they'll get over it.
I mean, they're always pretty neutral about it anyway. To be fair, anyway, so. It's true. That's true.
Yeah, they are
famously.
They are known for their chilled attitudes. Yeah, so you can piss the Swiss off all you want. Maybe.
Well, I love the Swiss. They won't, they won't hold beef for too long. Speaking of beef, Ashley Russell says, don't they have beef with Juventus? Yeah, it's a Thiago Motta deal that saw obviously Bologna's manager got him back into the Champions League, I should say rather. He headed to Juventus. I believe those talks started a long time before they should have done.
There's a lot of like tapping up allegations and shock horror with Juventus.
I seen somebody a moment ago as well, actually, and I've lost the comment now, so forgive me. But basically, that you can't even get in the Italy starting 11. I think you're mistaken after the fact he was suspended.
Yeah, he played the first 2 games
against Switzerland, ironically. He was very much in the starting 11, but 2 yellow cards meant he couldn't play at the weekend. Just to sort of wrap up on Calafiori then before we move on a little bit. Do you fancy it? You think it might happen? There's definitely, what I will say is, you referenced it earlier on, none of the big Liverpool beat journos have come out and shut it down yet, which they have been doing quite a lot this summer already. It does definitely feel like there's some legs to this one. And again, the player looks like he fancies a move. Bologna are open to the sale. Something's going to come of this summer, I think.
Yeah, I think he's going to move, and I think he's going to move to the Premier League. I couldn't tell you if it's going to be to us. I would guess, given the numbers that are being spoken about, it would be something that would be of interest to Liverpool. My gut feeling says he's probably going to go to Chelsea because
everyone does.
Yeah, it tends to happen. But I don't know. I would just be guessing, like you say.
Yeah, okay, interesting sound. Let's move on then. Somebody mentioned Ugarte a moment ago, and I'm going to do that one next because in the news, it feels like for the past few days, actually, let's get rid of that. It's not. Let's get rid of that. There we go. And all of a sudden, Liverpool have been tentatively linked. Let's put it that way. I always love when Liverpool's actual website picks up on news stories. It does make me smile.
Very aggregated.
Yeah, I love it so much.
So Liverpool, they just copy and paste. Well, not they copy, they just media.
They just aggregate it. Every now and then they just cherry pick one. I'm a big fan of it. And they've cherry picked this one. Manuel Ugarte's agent has talked up the possibility of his client joining Liverpool instead of Manchester United. This has come from Sky Sports, as aggregated by Liverpool there. You understand United are talking with PSG over signing the new Uruguayan midfielder. Discussions at an early stage, blah, 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 blah. But however, the agent here has said Liverpool, there is a lot of talk, but it's not the only club. There are others. There are many possibilities on the table, he told Portuguese outlet O Jogo. It's almost certain that he won't stay at PSG. It's sure he'll leave. I believe the situation will be resolved. Now, Steve, we've had many conversations over the last week or so about transfers and stuff like that. And almost every time, I don't know if you're aware of this, you've referenced the fact that a DM could be something Liverpool do. I think James Pearce has said similar as well this morning. Yeah. Would Ugarte, I mean, Liverpool have been interested in inverted commas, Manuel Ugarte for some time, it feels like. Do you think there's any chance happens this summer?
I don't think they were interested in them because they had to apologise last summer. Yes. Remember, basically, I say they had to apologise. They went to Sporting Lisbon or Sporting CP or whatever and said, listen, these stories say we don't want them, like it's not coming from us. Liverpool never wanted them. It was that they had to go and apologise because they kept getting linked, and it turned out that Liverpool's suggestion was it was agent driven. Now, Liverpool do need a number 6. I think he fits the bill. I think he definitely could be the man to do it, but I mean, all indications are he's going to Manchester United. Now, is this an agent trying to drum up a bigger wage? Man United fans tell you as soon as Man United are involved in a deal, they think they have to pay a premium, and they often do, and they've been willing to do so, and they've almost been forced to do so at times.
Bit them on the arse a few times.
Yeah, it has, and it gets them the players, but also sometimes it can really, really hamstring them. So this is going to be Ugarte's 3rd club in 3 years. Now, to be fair to him, one of them was because he performed so well that he got a big move. It hasn't worked in Paris for him. It appears they're ready to go early and cut ties on him for whatever reason. I mean, they've got some good players, so it's no shame there. I don't know, I'm getting the sense now that this is just that he is going to go to Manchester United, and this might be an agent just trying to get him a bit more of a transfer fee. But if that isn't the case and they like him, I will completely understand it, because I do think, and we said this on a few different shows, I think Liverpool need a couple of upgrades in certain places in the squad to make the overall squad better. I'd say there's logic in the fact that a DM is the one place where I think you could improve the team straight away. I think it's hard to improve other areas. I think you could. I think you can get better, a better player here and there, but it probably costs you a lot of money. I do believe that DM or a 6 or 1, whatever double pivots or whatever they're going to play,
immediate upgrade.
I think you can get one for the type of thing that it looks like Manuel Ugarte is going to be going to Manchester United for.
No, I absolutely agree with that. I think you're right. I think a lot of what we're doing is sort of fine-tuning the squad and sort of upgrading the actual sort of options off the bench and the overall look of the squad and the balance and all that sort of stuff. But I think you're right. I think the 6 is one position whereby you could go immediate plug and play. He's better than him. He's not going to cost us the earth. There you go. And I do think Ugarte actually complies with a lot of what I've just said, to be honest with you. So interesting to see how it pans out. A lot of people in chat saying he's just United bound, and he could well be right. Mike's J. H says he transforms that midfield. And yeah, I think at his best, and he didn't reach anywhere near his best. Somebody a moment ago said he didn't even make it in the Farmers League. That may well be true, it may well be not. I didn't see loads of him last season, but he is one hell of a player, and it just hasn't worked out with PSG for whatever reason. And sometimes that can just happen, can't it? Maybe through no fault of his own. We'll move on. Stories wise then, this one comes from Football Insider, and it claims that Liverpool will listen to offers for winger Luis Diaz this summer. It's believed the 27-year-old could be prized away from Anfield during the off-season amid interest from top clubs in Europe. Goes on to mention PSG and Barcelona being keen on a potential deal. Steve, the top line in this really is why I wanted to bring it to our attention and have a quick chat about it, because I don't think Liverpool are actively looking to sell Luis Diaz, I think it's fair to say. But again, James Pearce referenced something last week in The Athletic, and he actually named the price of upwards of 50 million, a sort of a starting fee. It does feel to me like Newcastle, we spoke a lot about Newcastle this week, saying the whole squad's for sale. That clearly isn't the case at Liverpool. In fact, hardly any of them are. However, it does suggest that if Liverpool were to receive big bids for Diaz, they wouldn't immediately sort of turn him down. There's a certain place in the squad whereby you go, come on, you'd laugh it off. I don't think that's the case for Diaz.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I know James wrote an article this morning with The Athletic saying Liverpool expect him to stay, and they've had no bids, they've had no contact. So make of that what you will. I think he's one of those players. I don't think he's actively for sale, and I don't think Liverpool are trying to push Luis Diaz out the door, but I think 50 is low. I'll be honest. I'm quite surprised that would be the figure. But if someone walked in with, I don't know, upwards of £60 million, then I think Liverpool might go, you know what, that's a decent deal for us. They'll have to go somewhere and get their replacements. Obviously, Anthony Gordon's name is the one hot topic at the moment, but there's no guarantee Newcastle have got any indication to sell him. So, yeah, I would be shocked if he's on the market, Luis Diaz. I don't think he's on the market per se, but I think there could be a deal to be done for somebody because the age, I think that is the one area of the squad where I think Liverpool will be quite comfortable if they had to replace. I think they could go and get someone in. I also think the fact that they like Gordon a bit, where that wasn't just ruled out straight away. Now, obviously, there's a lot of conflicting stories about exactly what happened on the Anthony Gordon, Gerald Quanta, Newcastle stuff, whatever. Yeah. But the fact is, and I know Paul Gorse wrote in the Echo, like Liverpool think they're well stocked in wide players, and they are. But this could have been just kabush. We don't want him, we don't like him, we're not having him, we're saying we've got Luis Diaz. But that hasn't been the case. No. Like the fact that the conversations with Gordon kind of got somewhere where you thought the deal might happen would suggest that they would be open to letting somebody go. They've already pretty much stated that it's not Darwin Nunez. I don't think it's Cody Gakpo at this stage. He's not long been here. I don't think it's Jota. We haven't heard nothing on Jota. So the obvious one would be Diaz, and he's probably the one where there are two clubs in Europe who probably need a left winger now. I still maintain I don't know where Barca are getting the dough from. No.
They have to offload a lot of their squad to Saudi Pro League, I would imagine.
But PSG have got the space in the squad because there's a fella who's just gone to Real Madrid. They've clearly got the money. That makes a lot of sense. And if I was Luis Diaz, I'd probably take that move. If that move came up, I'd probably take it. If I was him, if I was advising, I probably would take that move. So, yeah, I said yesterday on the show when we did the podcast, I don't think Luis Diaz will be a Liverpool player start by the end of this transfer window. And there's been nothing in the last 24 hours that changed my mind. I do believe that he's probably going to leave, and as long as the money's right, I'm okay with it. I'm not like, he's not what I'm saying, he's shit, get rid of him, whatever. No. But I think I see a world where there's too much smoke for it to be not happening. Liverpool they haven't come out and gone, he's not for sale. They did it with Mo Salah all the time. I don't care if the Saudi Pro League come in for him. We are not selling him. We heard that constantly, and we all didn't believe them. We all thought the bullshit in us, and he's going to go. And a lot of media did, and a lot of people did as well. We haven't really heard that from Diaz. It's been like, oh yeah, we like it. Well, it's been nothing. Yeah, right. It's been quiet. So make of that what you will. But I think he's going to go. My sneaky suggestion, my sneaky feeling is that he's probably going down to in Paris.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right, and you're right. Liverpool could easily dismiss that hand. And whilst they are, towing the party line and saying the right thing, in so much as they're quite happy with Diaz, they're happy to start the season with him, they have sort of left that door slightly ajar. If to say, if money that we found interesting came in, and you're absolutely spot on, because the Gordon stuff likewise could have been dismissed at a hand, and that wasn't the case. So, yeah, I do think there's a little bit of room for manoeuvre, and, a lot of time to go in the summer transfer window to suggest. And ultimately, a lot of people might sort of wonder why so much noise around Diaz. And his performances, I think, by and large, were really good, certainly the back end last season, but there is still room for improvement there, I think, from him, or an upgrade in terms of personnel. But also, his dad was literally a big reason as to why.
Apologies there. Also, we're lauding the fact that Andy Gordon wants to play for Liverpool. Like, he seems keen to want to play for Liverpool. Luis Diaz wants to play for Barcelona. We know that he wants to play for Barcelona, and we saw with Phil Coutinho, if the opportunity comes up, he'll want to go. And I completely understand it. There's a lot of players from South America who just want to go. And I get it, completely understand it. It makes complete sense. And he's not one who... I wouldn't be barricading the doors to keep Luis Diaz. I'd be like saying, you can go, mate, if the fee's right for us. Yeah. We're not actively trying to ship you, and we're not just going to take any Al deal for you, because we're quite happy. We think you're decent and we'll keep you. But if the club of your dreams comes in for you, then I think they would look at it, and I think that would be fair to everyone.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that as well. Interesting comment there, I've kept it on the screen for a little while, about Richard Rios. Not a player I expected to know a lot about, but I am having a chat with somebody a bit later on this week, a South American expert, and he is one of the topics of conversation. He's a Colombian DM, and I've heard and seen very good things, and I want to speak more about it. Liverpool haven't been linked, by the way, let me get that right away, but I want to speak to somebody who knows a lot more about him than I do, is to suggest if he is indeed a possibility at some point.
Who's he for?
Oh, I don't know that. He's in South America still. I want to say Palmeiras, but that could be incorrect, so forgive me. But yeah, he's definitely still South American based, very young DM, and absolutely tearing it up for Colombia. I like
the alliteration names.
Do you like that?
It's a bit Marvel, innit?
Yeah. Very English name actually for Colombian Richard, isn't it?
Yeah. Rios, not so much.
Not so much. No.
Would you call him Dick?
No. Rich
Rios, or no? I'd call him Dickie.
I think I'd have to stick with Richard.
You can't.
Why?
He's not going to come to Liverpool and be called Richard. He'll be Dickie. Roberto Firmino was Bobby.
Yeah, that's no.
If we sign Richard Rios or whatever it is, I'm calling him Dickie.
You're calling him Dickie. Okay, that's fine. You do you. That's absolutely fine. Next up, I mean, this could probably be dismissed at hand. It feels like a bit of a non-starter, but there have been reports from Turkey that Fenerbahce boss Jose Mourinho is eyeing the, and I quote, transfer of the year to bring Darwin Nunez to the Turkish side. And he's carrying out his operations in great secrecy.
Well, they're not that secret, are they? Because we're talking about it now, Jose.
I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this. I mean, there are those out there, and I was going to mention a moment ago, actually, Andy Gordon and the possibility of that deal seems to polarise opinion across the fan base. Darwin Nunez definitely polarises opinion across the fan base. However, I mean, come on, it's just not going to happen. Liverpool, let's forget about Fenerbahce and Jose Mourinho for a minute. Liverpool are going to persist and continue with Darwin Nunez. They're going to back on the slot to get the best out of him. And some people may believe they're already getting a good deal of goodness from Darwin Nunez. However, there's definitely more to come, but Liverpool aren't going to be willing to say, see you later.
Yeah, I can't see it. Well, they've pretty much said that. I remember when Paul Joyce announced Liverpool getting Arne Slot, Liverpool agreed deal with Arne Slot. He's going to be tasked with getting the best out of Darwin Nunez, who's staying. And it was framed, it was weird the way they framed it. It was like, all right, so the briefing was he's staying. Do you want my honest answer?
Yeah, please.
I'd sell him.
Would you?
Yeah.
How much would you want for Darwin? How much would you want to recoup for Darwin Nunez? Because I wouldn't, by the way. Let's get that out there. But what would you want?
If someone offered us 60 million, I'd say yes. 50, I'd be like, ugh, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, that's not for me. That's just my personal opinion. I love him to bits. I hope he does really, really well. I just don't think he's that good. And that's where I'm at with it. Like, it's not like at the end of the world. It's fine. I'll back him every time he's wearing the shirt. Then I'll back him 100%. But if it was me, I would. And I think you can get replacements for him. But that isn't going to happen.
No.
Liverpool are going to give him at least one more year. Now, this is his third season upcoming. This is it. Because that's enough. I think we might already have a big enough sample size to make sure it's not, maybe not.
I think the new manager thing gives him that pass.
Yeah. I think if it was another year of Jurgen Klopp, I wouldn't have been shocked if a few people were like, not for us, this.
I agree.
But the fact that there's a new manager and it's basically one of his remits has been try and get the best out of Darwin Nunez, then he's going to be given that opportunity. Even when he does leave, I think he'll probably go somewhere better. With all due respect to Fenerbahce, I think he can go somewhere better than that. But yeah, non-starter for this one for now, but it's a big year for Darwin.
No, absolutely. Yeah, a few comments, as you can imagine. Gory says, not a chance for a young lad with so much talent, selling him will be mental. I tend to agree with that. I do think we've seen it in flashes, and albeit only in flashes, nowhere near on a consistent enough basis. He has shown that consistency for Uruguay, ironically enough, under Marcelo Bielsa, but I think, and I do think the new manager thing is a thing in all of this. I think the fact we have got a new entire team in terms of coaching to sort of help him and try and get the best out of him changes the dynamic ever so slightly. And also, to throw into that exact same mix, Arne Slot having a very good track record with similar type centre forwards, big centre forwards who run and in behind and are quick and are direct. I think we'll back him once again. I really do. And again, a move to Fenerbahce or even the Turkish league, with all due respect, is just not on the cards whatsoever. Nunez is going to get 20 plus in the Prem next season. Yeah, Nunez is like Iago Aspas. He'd probably win a Golden Boot in the Liga, but put on a red shirt, he plays with an eyelash in his eye. Okay, yeah. I mean, again. Here we go. Here's one before we wrap up as well. Mr. MH, do you guys see a mad 100 million plus bid for Liverpool? Like, I personally don't, because I think the organisation in around Liverpool is far better than it was. I don't think we'll see quite as crazy stuff going on as we did last summer.
I think they're going to break their transfer record this summer.
Do you?
Yeah.
On who?
I don't know.
Okay.
A forward.
Well, I said this on the podcast yesterday. Everyone often sort of references the transfer record as a thing because it exists, and as if to say, you can't go near that. But how many years ago was that now? You know what I mean? Like, that's a long time ago now, especially in the way modern football's going. So we nearly did it last year, and you probably might be right. I think there's a good chance we do that.
100 million might be too high, but I wouldn't be shocked if we signed someone for like around
in the
80s.
Yeah, it's probably a fair point. The Artful Dodger agrees with you. He says this will be Nunez's last season if he doesn't pull his.
I don't think anyone can disagree with that.
No, I'm probably with you.
The issue you've got is if it goes badly again, then that's unsafe that you're after. He's 3 years into a contract and he's had 3 inconsistent at best years.
Yeah, I agree.
You might be looking at £30 million at that point, you know what I mean? And it's someone's reclamation project that someone's going to have to try and rebuild them. So it is a big season for them. Going back to it, if Liverpool are going to spend, who they want them to spend the money on is a different question. I wouldn't be shocked if they signed a wide forward for big money, because I do think they're going to sell Luis Diaz. So I think it'll be offset a lot by that cost. But the actual fee itself, I think probably will end up being higher than what the £75 million or so they paid for Virgil van Dijk back in January 2018.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Gucci'd up, referencing that. Hughes in the building, so he'll be smart and astute. And also Michael Edwards is, if not in the building, in and around the football club once again. Likewise with Julian Ward as well. So I do think that the thinking will be slightly more joined up than it was last season. It did feel a little bit scattergun, might be unfair, but the Lavia,
it was a joke, yes.
The Lavia ordeal went on forever, and all of a sudden, within the space of, 3 hours, we were putting £100 million down on the table. It was great from like a spectacle point of view. It was great to watch, and there's utter chaos going on. Then Wataru Endo comes out of nowhere. Yeah. But I don't envisage a similar sum. I do think it will be far more well thought out, personally.
York Schmankin and IB is a bit different than it. Michael Edwards chilling in the offices, maybe.
Previous versions of Michael Edwards will suggest it might be slightly different. Just quickly before we do wrap up, I've said this a couple of times, so I apologise. Etzam asks, are you going to be covering Arne Slot's first press conference on Friday?
I can answer that one because that's my job, to organise the content. Yes, as soon as the press conference is finished, we'll have a reaction show. It's scheduled to be Chris and Chloe. He'll be on this very set as soon as that podcast finishes. Sorry, that press conference finishes, to record a reaction video and podcast. So they'll be live on YouTube. Expect it to be around 11:30, with Slot's press conference being 11, but as soon as it finishes, Chris and Chloe will be live here. So there's your answer.
Amazing. Cool. Sound. Yes, this as well. Sound. Thanks very much. Nice one. Appreciate that.
That was lots of fun.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Let's go play pool again. I owe you one.
We'll see you soon. Bye.